Today we're going to go over 30 foods that can last up to 30 years. Some of these foods can be stored just as they are, but the other ones, like the powdered and dried foods, they need to be stored in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers. After you put the food into the Mylar bag, then you have to put it into a 5-gallon bucket. You can usually find those at Home Depot and places like Canadian Tire. I recommend you don't buy them off of survival websites because they always overcharge for them. Now, why am I doing this video? The main reason is because almost every single emergency requires you to have food. Even for stuff that's more common like job loss, it's good to have some food set aside so at least you don't starve. A lot of people who are struggling, usually at the end of the month, they say, I've paid all my bills, but I have no money left for food, so this will help with that. And as you probably know, everything's just going to get more and more expensive, so it's kind of like an investment you're making. The first one is apple cider vinegar. It can last up to 30 years if you store it in a cool, dry place, and I recommend you try and put it in a glass jar if it doesn't already come in one. Baking soda can last up to 30 years, and you can obviously use it for baking, and you can also use it for cleaning. You can use it as a substitute for a toothpaste. You can put some under your arms and use it like deodorant. Just put it in an airtight container and store it in a cool, dry place. Dried black beans, they can be used in many different types of dishes. They can last up to 30 years and they have protein. I recommend you put these in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers. Brown sugar, it's a pantry essential and it can resist both bacteria and fungal growth. Store it in a glass jar. Bouillon cubes should be in everyone's prepper pantry. They last up to 30 years and they can add a lot of flavor to your recipes. They can be used in soups, stews, and many other dishes to add flavor. Also, they're a lot cheaper than fresh spices and many other seasonings. Cocoa powder, it's a great food to have for your enjoyment. It has a very long shelf life and there's a huge shortage of it, so make sure to stock up. Raw cocoa powder can be used both in sweet and savory recipes. I would take it out of its original packaging and put it in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers. Cornstarch is incredibly versatile, long-lasting, and inexpensive. It can be used for thickening soups, stews, sauces, and gravies. It's really useful when you have limited ingredients and you're trying to make food more filling and satisfying. If you store it in an airtight container, it'll last forever. You can also use it to soothe irritated skin. It can help with rashes, chafing, and sunburn. Since it acts as a natural absorbent, you can use it as an alternative for deodorant during an emergency. It can also be used to help control minor bleeding from small cuts and wounds. It's cheap and it has so many uses, so everyone should be stockpiling it. Next up is corn syrup. It'll last basically forever and you can use it in desserts and snacks. It's also pretty inexpensive. You can buy a big bottle of it for 10 bucks. Dehydrated hash browns are an incredibly useful food to have in your stockpile. They're a great source of carbohydrates and they can last up to 30 years if you put them in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers. It's very important to have high carb and high calorie foods during emergency situations where you need lots of energy. Dried lentils are a kitchen staple you need to have on hand. They're really nutritious and they're a great source of plant-based protein. They can last up to 25 years. This makes them valuable in times of supply chain disruptions where other protein sources are not available. With just a few basic ingredients like onions, garlic, carrots, tomatoes, and spices, you can make many delicious recipes. Next up is ghee. It's incredibly nutritious, it's full of healthy fats, and it has a long shelf life. If it's sealed and stored in a cool, dry place, it can last 20 years or more. Plus, the benefit is that it doesn't require refrigeration. Next up is instant coffee. 70% of people drink coffee on a daily basis, but regular ground coffee doesn't last long. If you take out the instant coffee from its original packaging and put it in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers, it'll last up to 30 years or more. The other advantage with instant coffee is that it's very quick and easy to prepare. You just add hot water. Instant dry potato flakes, another item that's very easy to prepare and it can last forever in Mylar bags. Jello, it's a great comfort food to have for yourself or your kids during an emergency, and it can last up to 30 years in Mylar bags. Just make sure you get the regular kind and not the sugar-free one. The sugar-free one doesn't last long. Next up is dried kidney beans. They're a great source of protein, fiber, and they can last up to 30 years in Mylar bags. You can add them to your soups or chili for an extra boost of nutrition. Oats last forever in Mylar bags. They're versatile, and they have protein, carbs, vitamins, and minerals. You can bake something, or you can add hot water to quick oats and just eat them like that. Dried pasta, it can last 25 years or more. It has lots of carbs and calories, and it's inexpensive. You can buy 900-gram boxes of it for 2 bucks. I recommend you stockpile lots of it. One, because it's cheap, and because you'll need food that can give you lots of energy in a survival situation. Pinto beans are cheap, nutrient-dense, versatile, and they can last 25 years or more if you put them in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers. And I'm talking about dried pinto beans, not the canned ones. It's another good plant-based protein source. You can make soups, stews, burritos, chili, and many other foods. A 900-gram bag is $3.47. Popcorn. It's an excellent source of fiber, antioxidants. It has a really long shelf life. It can last about 25 years or more in Mylar bags, and it's a great morale booster in an emergency situation. Powdered milk. It has carbs, protein. You just need water to prepare it, and it'll last 25 years or more if you put it in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers. You can buy it canned from survival stores, but it's better you just do it yourself with the Mylar bags. It's not that difficult. Plus, the survival stores are going to charge you a lot more than you would just doing it yourself. If you buy real vanilla extract, not the artificial kind, it'll last forever. I know real vanilla extract is almost double the price, but it's well worth the investment. You can also use it to enhance the taste of your bland survival foods. Stuff like oatmeal, rice pudding, and powdered milk-based drinks. You can also use it for baked goods, pancakes, and homemade protein bars. It also has antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. It also has antibacterial effects that could help with wound care. I also think it's going to have high barter value because it's going to be considered a luxury item in a post-collapse scenario. When you're storing it, make sure to keep it away from heat sources like stovetops and direct sunlight. Raw honey. You can use it to sweeten your foods. It has healing properties and it'll last forever. Just make sure it's in an airtight container and stored in a cool, dry place. Same thing with maple syrup. If you get the real thing, it can last 30 years or more. If you bought cans of those survival pancakes from emergency food sites, it'll go great with that as well. White rice. It's versatile, it has lots of carbs and calories, and it'll last 30 years or more if you store it in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers. It's another food that's inexpensive. You can get an 8-kilogram bag for $15. Next is salt. It's inexpensive, your body needs it to survive, and it'll last forever if stored in an airtight container. Since salt is so important and so cheap, you should buy some every week. You can buy 1-kilogram bags for around $1. Next is soy sauce. It can last 25 years or more, and it's a great way to flavor your foods. You're going to be eating a lot of bland foods if it's a few months into an emergency scenario, and soy sauce can add a lot of flavor to those foods. Sugar. It's another very versatile pantry item. Everyone uses it. It's a great morale booster, and it can last 30 years or more if you put it in an airtight container. You can buy a 2-kilogram bag for $3.47. Next is tea bags. They're great for people who don't drink coffee. They have a lot of health benefits, and they can last up to 30 years in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers. If you're looking for something with energy and caffeine, then you can just get green tea. If you want something to have before bed, you can get one of those sleepy time teas. Next is wheat berries. They can last up to 30 years in an airtight container without losing nutritional value or taste. Not even white flour can last that long, even if you put it in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers. Next is white vinegar. It lasts forever. You can use it for pickling foods, you can use it for cleaning, and it has medicinal properties. You can use it to clean minor cuts and scrapes during an emergency. You can gargle with it to soothe a sore throat. Diluted vinegar can cool and soothe sunburned skin. It can be used to reduce itching from mosquito bites. It also works well as a natural insect repellent. Since it has so many uses, it's going to make a great bartering item. Alright guys, that's it for the 30 different foods. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe.